Welcome to another episode of Fans in Motion, the ultimate Night Ranger podcast. As it has been said, it's almost scripture. The podcast you didn't know you needed. Brent didn't know it. I didn't know it, but we needed it. Anyways, another episode, news notes and minutia. I don't have a song lyric. Andy's fucking working. I don't know why he's got two jobs. I mean, that's what the wife's for, right? Anyways, Brent, say something.
I was trying to think of a job lyric real quick.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
Well, yeah, wrong band, but and I'm surprised you didn't add the word blow to it.
What about this? Working girls, they run the place. There we go. And Andy's just there doing general labor.
Andy is working the show for Drake tonight.
Oh, look at
Yo
that.
yo! I sent him a message after we got done with the last episode we recorded, and I just wrote when I wrote maybe it was on our whole thing. I'm like, yo, Drake, you're in Drake's house. His hizzy.
Now
Something like
is something like that. Is Drake's not like yo-yo rap, right? Like he ain't the
I hadn't heard one freaking song by him. I just know he's Canadian, I think, and he was on
hey.
Degrassi. I think he was on the show Degrassi.
I pretty much just assume anybody that's, I don't know and is playing arenas was on Nickelodeon at one time. So, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Anyways, listen, I don't know when we did a last news notes and minutia, but we got one now. So what Night Ranger news we got out there? And probably not much. I mean, we're going to go over, there's a lot of tour dates coming out, so we're going to go over those. But there is some things out there in the news. Joel Hoekstra. He's been keeping an eye on old Joel. Joel is
I was looking at it last night. They released tour dates.
yeah, he is going to be probably with him for like 4 or 5 months and touring like South America and Europe, all kinds
Yeah,
of shit. But he is with the mighty band Accept. What do you think of the Accept, Brent? Give us your critique of them.
I was never a big fan of Accept, but I'm more interested in Accept because of their lead singer.
Joel
Uh,
Hoekstra too.
well, that gives me more incentive to want to go see them now. But what's his name? Like mine just went blank.
I can tell you his name is not Udo.
Tornado. My God.
Um,
Anyway,
um,
I like the band.
his Ford
What?
Tornado is his
I like the band TT Quick, and that's who he's fronted out of New Jersey. And
name.
for anybody who knows TT Quick, basically the guitarist, if you listen to them, it sounds like Zach Wild's in the band because Zach Wild learned how to play guitar from the guy who was the guitarist for TT Quick.
There you go.
So anyway, Mark Tornino, yeah. Anyway, he's a lead singer. And I'd be interested in checking them out with Joel in the band. I was just looking up last night to see if there's any dates for the States yet, because I kind of want to go see that.
There is another kind of Night Rangerish connection to Accept. Um, Back in maybe 96, 97, Michael Cardelloni drummed for them.
I don't
So,
remember that.
yeah, it was one of those things where, before the internet, I remember reading about it. And I remember they played the Al Rosa Villa right around that time. And I thought about going just to
Mm.
see Michael Cardelloni, but I wasn't 100% sure he was still with him or whatever. But anyways, there's you got
Yeah,
a Night Ranger and Damn Yankees connection to Accept. So there you go for
Mark
you.
Tornello. I could not get that out of my mouth.
Um, so there you go. You got that. So some Joel Hoekstra news there, and he was just on our buddy Mike Brun's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So after you listen to this one, you can go over there. I think I mentioned this on the one of the previous episodes. You want some new Kelly Kagi music? Jim Peterick released a CD, Roots and Shoots Volume 1. And for those that don't know, Jim Peterick was in Survivor, co-wrote all those big Survivor hits, co-wrote all the big 38 special hits, Fantasy Girl, Hold On Loosely, Rockin' Into the Night, co-wrote Heavy Metal with Sammy Hagar. Dude
Amazing.
wrote a
Amazing.
lot of stuff. So anyways, released this record, and him and Kelly do a song called Mend Fences. So there you go. If you want some new Kelly Kagi, it's one track, but hey, one's better than zero.
That looks
Um,
like the tree from Disney, the Disney Animal Park,
oh
the
yeah,
Tree of Life.
yeah, you're right. Well, it is a tree of life. It looks like it may be that exact tree. So there you
Just
go.
there's just no Simba carved into it.
Um, I saw some trees that when some people don't know, but I spent 8 months in Africa in 2011. Um, and there are trees like that,
Yeah,
just out in the middle of nowhere. I remember I saw one, and again, very, you go to some places and it's very, you know,
desolate.
well, it's desolate, but there's no technology. And
Okay.
one of those tree of lives, they had hollowed out the bottom, and like a tribe of people lived in that. They
Yeah,
had little huts around it, but like one of the center places was that tree, and they had it carved out and lived in it, in that part. Um,
hot tree talk.
yes, we got it all, people. But there you go. So some Kelly news, some
That's for our other podcast, Leaves Emotion.
uh, um, the podcast that will blow you away. Um,
The
but
podcast that blows.
uh, anyways, Night Ranger next weekend, Las Vegas. Yours truly will be there. I'm going to go out for 4 days in Vegas, and I'm renting a car, and I'm going to go hike Joshua Tree and spend a day in LA and fly home. Anyways, um, so Night Ranger wise, Friday, Saturday night at the Strat, formerly known as the Stratosphere, you got Stephen Piercy of Rat playing all the Rat hits, and Night Ranger afterwards playing both Friday and Saturday. Saturday, at Kiss World
Yeah,
at the
the
Rio,
Monster Mini Golf.
which is that like also has Gene's collection of stuff
Yep.
too? All right, Jim Cara that does has done guitars for Ace Frehley and Lita Ford and Brad. He's got an exhibit there Friday and Saturday. Bruce Kulick will be there Friday and Saturday, and Brad will be there
Saturday.
Saturday from 1 to 3. So go out and meet Brad. I think he's going to have Bubba there, so you might be able to see Bubba. I think I think I saw that in some passing conversation. So there you go. You want to meet Brad and see some cool guitar stuff and see all the shit that Brent wishes he had. You can go to Kiss World over at the Rio. It's a little bit off the strip in Vegas. Um, and
Does it cost anything to get
I
into
don't,
the
I don't,
exhibit?
I don't think so. I haven't seen anything. So
I know the Monster Mini Golf has a charge to play, and probably Gene's Museum probably has.
yeah. So but yeah. Um, go there and said 1 to 3 on Saturday. If you're there Friday, you can see Bruce Kulick as well. He'll be there both days, but um, and then if you're in Vegas, Carrie Kelly's got two restaurants there, Aces and Nails, the Nellis location and the Tenya location. So you can rock and roll and get some Aces and Nails swag while you're out there. So what do we got? What do we got? Night Ranger tour news. There's a lot of dates coming up. Most have been announced through May. Now, listen, if you're in North Dakota, you've got it made. Like they got two North Dakota shows after the Vegas weekend. Fort Yates. I mean, you remember that time we partied in Fort Yates
Oh my God,
and
it was a blast.
Belcourt, North Dakota at the Sky Dancer Casino. So, anyways, those two shows. Um,
I believe that one, the first one, you told me that you looked at me the next morning and you're like, you know what, Brett? Cocaine and women, they'll treat you the same. I've heard that somewhere
mhm,
before, but damn
listen,
if it ain't true.
it is true, and you know what? I'm cool with that. Um,
Then you put
Friday.
your trousers on and you shouted it out the
Yeah,
window.
yep, and you know, uh, little sister, man. Um, so Night Ranger's first show that I can remember since we've started doing this in Alabama, March 1st, Huntsville, Alabama, at the Mars Music Hall. All
Wow.
right. But anyways, then you got Macon, Georgia, and if you're in Orlando, and I know a lot of people are on the page or in Florida. Sunday, March 3rd, they are playing in Orlando, Florida at SeaWorld. So you can go there and see Night Ranger, get a fish sandwich, live the life.
They play there quite often. At least what,
Yeah.
once every other year, something like
Last,
that.
well, the last time I remember them playing was like February or something of 21. So COVID was starting to, gradually,
Yeah.
open up and
Well, Sarah Griffith, I know, goes to those shows.
so SeaWorld there. We got some Kansas dates, Missouri dates. Obviously go to nightranger.com and you're going to get all these. And listen, if you want to see Josh, Brent, you're probably going to see me at all three. Brent, maybe a couple. April 12th, 13th, and 14th. Anderson, Indiana at the casino. Tiffin, Ohio on the Saturday night at the Ritz Theater. There's probably less than 100 tickets for that. And the Newark, Ohio show at the Midland Theater, there's less than 100 tickets for that. So if you're going to go and you want a personalized autographed 8x10 of Josh and Brent, get yourself some tickets. And a show that I'm looking forward to, the M3 Fest.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, they want it, man. Night Ranger, Y&T on the same bill, so
Ooh.
I'll be out there as well. But you got the Woodstock, Woodstock, Georgia date in May. The Friday, May 17th date that was supposed to be Night Ranger opening up for Cheap Trick at the LA County Fair,
Yeah,
Sonoma,
what's going on with
California.
that? Sorry
Cheap
to
Trick,
mention.
yeah, get me all choked up. Cheap Trick is canceled. They are looking for another headliner. So Night Ranger hasn't been completely canceled, but they are looking for someone to replace Cheap Trick. So once we find out something, we shall let you know. The May 25th, 26th weekend in Michigan, Jackson, Michigan, and Coleman, Michigan. So the Jackson date is a makeup date from last September. And you got a one date in June in Minnesota. There are some dates coming up that are going to be released in July. Maybe in Michigan, maybe Wisconsin. Who knows, right? Could be some California dates, maybe. I don't know. Maybe another Ohio date, maybe an Arkansas date. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just here for the free beer. Um, but anyways, there are some more dates being announced, and there may be 4 or 5 shows in June that might be a double bill for Night Ranger. So can't give you anything more than that. But hey, we're striving for some news here. So keep an eye
Man.
out. You might see a cool little announcement for some dates in June. Other than that, not much else has gone on sale. There is the
Well, the dates you were talking about that there might be announcing,
Mhm.
if it does happen, it'll be pretty cool, in
Yes,
my opinion.
it shall be cool. Um, now there is so you got Night Ranger Monsters on the Mountain. I think maybe Sunday, and I think Thursday or something. They got the. It's like in Branson.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Retro Mania Live, the ultimate '80s music vacation. Listen to this lineup: Vince Neil, Bobby Brown, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Night Ranger, Polly Shore, Lou Graham, Tom Kiefer Band, Stephen Piercy, Quiet Riot, Starship, and Jesus Jones. You talk about
Well, right here, right now.
band that really,
So you're gonna
yeah.
get that, and you're gonna get Wheeze on the juice.
Um,
Wheezing on the juice,
so there you go.
buddy.
If you're in Branson, you could go see Ray Stevens probably, and then go see the Retro Rewind, whatever tour. So
I wonder, did you ever see that show that used to be on, I guess, whatever True TV used to be? And it was like the Branson family. It was a show about a family that had a show in Branson. And it, it was so horrible. I couldn't stop watching. I mean, I must have binge watched it over like a Christmas week one year.
I have
Branson family, something. You got to look it up. And I mean, it's some fucked up shit.
I
These
have
people,
absolutely no
yeah, they
idea.
did a little kind of country western show in Branson. So if somebody out there knows what I'm talking about, put it down below in the comments. Make Josh a fan. I wonder if they're still performing. Is what I was going to say.
Now, Jack Blades did a Sirius XM guest DJ. We posted on the Night Ranger page January 9th, so you can go there and get the link.
Did he talk about us?
He did. You know, he's spent a good couple minutes. Anyways, it's kind of cool. I mean, I was working out and so like, what am I going to listen to? I'm like, oh shit, there's that, and it gives me something to talk about in the podcast. So here we are. So it's him just basically telling stories. So I think he tells a little bit of a story with maybe when you close. I have it written down, but I didn't bring it with me. When you close your eyes, and he talks a little bit about Night Ranger breaking up and him going hanging out with Vince Neil while they're recording Dr. Feelgood, and I think they play Same Old Situation. And um, he talks about hanging out with the Rat guys and the upcoming Vegas show, and I think they play Round and Round. And he talks about writing. Um, he talks about writing the High Enough with Tommy, and they play High Enough from Damn Yankees. So there's like 4 or 5 songs with some really good stories. So if you get a chance, just go. I think if you just go to the SiriusXM app and just type in Jack Blades, and you have to have a subscription to it, it'll pull it right up. But other than that, I think that's all the Night Ranger news we got. I do got some stuff here I got laying out. Well, let's do this.
You always got shit.
Listen, you need to show your collars, man. Look at that. Look at that logo. Beautiful. So we got the white t-shirt still. I am starting to run out of sizes. I think I still have a little bit left in all sizes, but I'm down to just a few in the maybe like the larges or something. But anyways, look at that. Beautiful. Get yourself one. 25 bucks. That includes shipping. That includes everything. So and it's cool seeing it's cool seeing fem meetups, right? On the West Coast, and like they're doing it themselves, which doesn't take much because we are horrible at it. Um, but and they're wearing, their fans in motion gear and stuff. So it's cool that like the back of
Yeah.
the like like the back of the shirt says always on tour. So
Like somebody posted on the page the other day, what's the craziest thing you've gotten at a Night Ranger concert or you walked out with or whatever? And I was going to write a bunch of fibs, but I didn't know if people would, uh, you know,
mhm.
the true diehards would get it. I thought, I'm not going to label myself like that. Although, hey, it's 2024. I can do what I want.
And then the other thing I have laying around, I actually have 2 of these. Brent's gonna like it.
Man, I look at Amazon for that. Oh, you have 2 of those?
I think so. Either that or I took my one and put it someplace where I don't think I had it. Um, but
But you know what? I'm not going to want that anymore. If Rock Candy does any more releases, if they release the other albums that are in that, I'm fine. Those just sound better than what was previously released in America. But the LP cardboard sleeves, even though I'm a jewel case guy, are pretty cool to see.
so there's the box, and then you have the big Obi strip
Yep.
that goes around it. And I'm not going to take them
What's
out
on the
there.
back of the box? Is it just blue?
Well, yeah, once you take the Obi strip off.
Okay.
And then there's the, you know, but you got the 5 classic era albums: Dawn Patrol, Midnight Madness, Seven Wishes, Big Life, Man in Motion. And if you open them up, it's just basically a mini album with a CD
Hold
in
it
there.
up. Hold them up. Yeah.
Now, one thing that's interesting is
Geffen.
does have the Geffen label, which MCA bought Geffen, and they have actually retired the MCA logo and made everything Geffen. But that's where that comes from. But you know,
Hold up.
again,
Yeah. Hold them all up.
we know what most of them look like. Here's the Man in Motion. Well, here you got that. Like I
What's on
said,
the back of that?
it's just
Okay.
they're pretty much just
It's
straight
just
up,
like a record album.
just the. And when you take it out, you take the CD out. It's just like the dust jacket. Um,
Did it come with those little plastic covers? Or did you put those on there?
this came with it.
Did it?
Yes. Um, so there you
Yeah.
go.
That's a cool little box set.
I'll tell you what. If you see it for under $200, you probably need to get it if you want.
I had a chance to, after we started this page, I found one on Amazon for $125. And I had 120 in my account. I was getting ready to get a $5 gift card and it was gone within a couple of days of me getting that gift card.
Yeah. So I would say probably the going rate for this 250,
Yep.
300, somewhere in there. So like I said, if it's something you want and you see it below 200, you probably want to get it. And I had this sitting here, and probably my favorite release in the Night Ranger catalog, the laser disc of Japan in Motion. I will show this all the time. So I've got one that's signed by, I think, everyone but Jeff. I actually had Jesse Bradman sign one for me, but it's a laser disc. So in the US, we got, Live in Japan on CD and cassette. And over in Japan, you got
They got the
this.
video and
Yeah,
all that.
you got the CD and cassette over there, but you also got laser disc, and you got it on VHS. So, um,
Yeah.
which I don't have. So, if you got it,
It'd be nice if they could source down who owns all that and just digitally release it to purchase.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if
You know,
the video is owned by whatever the Japanese um, whoever controls that. I don't know. And then we got this. Everybody's been showing your gold mine. So here is the regular cover with Jack blades on it. So Goldmine Magazine, which has changed a lot, throughout the years. Anyways, they have a winter 2023 issue, and they have different covers, like they got a Beatles cover and stuff like that. So, but where they're talking about the orchestra show. So the regular copy is this version here with Jack blades on the cover. And then you have this. They made 100 of these. It's got a slipcase that protects the magazine. So here's the slipcase. You can see the magazine in there.
you kept it
And then
sealed.
and then on the back, you have the autographed photo. Now, there was 100 of these, and 50 of them were
50.
signed. So you
Mm-hmm.
got some signed and you got some not signed. Now I'm going to open this because I only have a signed one fucking here, I guess. So, and I don't really
Why are
care.
you going to open it?
I don't give a shit. All right.
Just
So,
keep it sealed.
well, there's a reason why I got to open it.
God, there's that knife again. Jesus. Have you ruined anything using a knife like that yet?
Hmm?
Have you ruined anything opening it up?
There's been some people have had some ruined bellies,
Uh,
you know. But inside there, these are the alternate covers. So the alternate cover has the entire band on it. So there you are. That's the reason why I had to open it, is to show the
hey, You could have just said the alternate cover. It looks like my shirt
Well,
without
kind of.
Goldmine behind it.
Yeah, and so there you go. Kind of a weird Night Ranger logo. You think maybe they would put
Yeah,
um,
it kind of looks like one of those bootleg CDs that you find online.
but there you go. There's that. I don't know what else I got laying around. Here we go. I got a Kelly Kagi card. But anyways, there you go. You got that.
Is this gonna be Thursday's episode?
Yeah, tomorrow.
And then
So
the next one is going to be what we
yeah,
recorded earlier.
yeah.
I'm
Hush.
going to give a hint. I'm just going to give a
No,
hint. I'm
no.
not going to say nobody's going to know by
You're,
this. This has something to do with
ooh,
next week's episode
oh yeah. It's
from
the
March 1st, 1989 at the Newport in Columbus, Ohio.
yeah.
If you know anything about this, you might know something about next week's episode.
We are going to talk to Brent Walter, who was there.
Yeah, I was there.
Did I show this? The Night Ranger keychain?
You show so much shit.
I don't know.
And I don't mean that as it being the jerk. I don't mean it that way.
So this was like $5-6, and
I think you did.
but it's an official product. It's got the 1984 Night Ranger personalities, Inc., Gaithersburg, Maryland, copyright on there. So at one time they had official keychains. Um, there we go.
It wasn't from Wonderland, huh? Because Wonderland
And
had all those bands doing that stuff back in the day.
it was not.
Yeah, I got my official keychain
There you go. It's
still bagged and stapled. No, yeah, stapled.
um but anyways, so there not a lot new. We got some interesting episodes coming up. So some interviews that I think y'all are going to enjoy. Um really with the fans of motion page, I mean, we need to do an episode. We hit 10,000 people, so 10,000 people on the fans of motion page. How about
Is it
that?
actually at 10,000 yet?
Listen, man, why you being? It's right
I'm
there.
just
Look, right.
when
Shut up. Right there. What's it say?
I'm the
10.
guy that when it's like if you go to a store and you have $28, but the thing costs $29.37, then you don't have it.
Hey, look at this. Do you guys see this? They're gonna sell.
That's a replica, isn't it?
Well, it's a like a photo that you can buy like to hang on the wall, and then also you got a miniature Bubba that goes
Oh, it's
with it.
miniature.
Yeah. So
So is it at Axe Haven? Are they doing it or
I think Jim Cara is doing it. So I
really?
think they're going to be on sale at. He has 5 of them. He says, um, on sale, at the shows. So there you go, Saturday.
I'll get Carrie Ann to make me one.
Mm. But we got the new Night Ranger rig. I have not yet to see that. So, but it's kind of cool seeing people posting pictures, of them beside it and stuff. And
It should say "smell the glove" on it. How much more black could it be?
none.
None more black.
And the old Edward Pepe sent me a video from sound check of them doing Interstate Love Affair.
Does that mean we could possibly be getting maybe a Big Wishes tour that we've talked about in the past?
Well, so one thing they've started doing is they've started doing sound check VIPs. So it's the meet and greet, but you get to go in for a sound check. Now, if you remember, last year in Marietta, early June, I think. I think I was telling the story and about Night Rangers setting up for sound check. And I like Marietta. It's a beautiful little city. And so they start sound checking, and one of the great things about what we do is I've seen sound check more than enough. I go take a walk while they are sound checking, and Ed sends me a video of them doing Interstate Love Affair during sound check. And it was you, I'm pretty sure, that, kind of made fun of the point of, yeah, do you ever think you get to a point where, all right, I've seen sound check enough, I'm gonna go take a walk. But anyways, the one walk I do take.
I know. That's the
And
way it works.
but they played that song during a show. Now, it was just the first verse and maybe the chorus, and it wasn't, full speed, but so, I think it's just a song that, they kind of monkey around with, and it's something special for the people who pay for the sound check VIP to hear. But you never know, right?
They have a sound check love affair for that song.
They do. Brent, did you have the Night Ranger Edge and Agree shirt back in the day?
I did not. I was broke at that concert. I didn't get a tour book. I didn't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was absolutely broke. And I think it was because back then you'd have three or four bands coming to your shed. This was Riverbend. And I was constantly going to concerts. And
Yeah,
I was broke. If I didn't have to, if I didn't get free tickets, I had to pay for them.
yeah,
When you're making $3.75 an hour back then, you know,
yeah. Yeah. I just remember the ads and and all that stuff. Now,
I just remember wanting a necklace so bad because every tour I kept missing the necklace.
yeah. Well, my first show, like I said, August '85. My grandma took me, and she got me the tank top Night Ranger shirt with the girl on the back. I thought that was so great. It's a 8-year-old. The Night Ranger necklace, and then while waiting for the band, someone had bought a tour book, and just I think they looked at it and they sold it to her for maybe half price, and I got the tour book.
Hmm.
Um, so I still got the necklace, still got the shirt, but I think the tour book somehow lost its way. Now, obviously,
Yeah.
it's been replaced, um, but another thing it's kind of was news this week was Toby Keith passed away. I think Monday,
Big loss. I
and
didn't know he had stomach cancer. I didn't know he announced it 2 years ago. I don't know how
yeah,
I missed that.
yeah. I mean, it's well, he was fighting it even before that. So like he had something wrong with
Right.
him, and so he was fighting it for like 6 months, and then whenever he announced, 2 years ago, it was the stomach cancer. He'd already been fighting stuff for 6 months. So, um, and like I said, I think I made a post. So if you're on my Facebook page, see it. Just really weird was when I do listen to country music, and I like country music, not none of the new stuff, but I usually will listen to. If I've been drinking, a little bit too much, it's always Johnny Paycheck, George Jones, Gary Stewart, Merle Haggard, stuff like that. And it's usually me grabbing a couple records and throwing them on the turntable. But anyways, I had a song stuck in my head of Toby Keith's, and um, I asked the Alexa, "Hey, play Toby Keith, That's My Truck," and it said, "Well, you don't know that song, but here's songs by Toby Keith." So, anyways, it starts playing a Toby Keith song. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that song. So I'm drinking, listening to it. Another song comes on. Like, fuck, I remember that song. Another song comes on. I'm like, shit, remember that one.
Hmm.
Another song comes on. Like, yeah, I remember that one. It's all right. Skip. Another song. I'm like, holy shit, it's a fucking great song. I'm not lying. I was probably 20 songs deep, hour and a half into it. I think I'd forgotten why I'd started, listening to it to begin with. And then finally the song I'd, had wanted played, which was Who's That Man? Um, which, has the line, "That's not my truck," in her drive. But anyways, I said the wrong lyric. So, anyways, you just forget, just how many songs this guy had. And what I always liked about him was he wrote his stuff, which, in 90s country, that wasn't always the case. Um, and so, yeah, it's just weird, Friday, Saturday night, whatever night it was, I'm listening to him out of the blue, and then he passes away on Monday. But, Brad had spent some time with him and, made a post, and Kelly the same way. And Kelly, I mean, he had some more to say. We obviously can't put everything in there, but it was, he's talked about how great, Toby Keith was, because it was a surreal party. It was just like him, Jack, and Brad, and a few other people, with Toby Keith and Wayne Newton just partying
Mm.
and drinking. And Kelly said, I couldn't believe how good of a guitarist Wayne Newton was.
Really?
Yep. So, anyways, that was just kind of, interesting. But Night Ranger had played some charity events, and Brad told me that what's Brad? Toby Keith's favorite Night Ranger song was "Forever All Over Again,"
Really?
which I've heard before. So I don't know if Brad said that before in an interview or something, but that nugget was up there. Um, and so yeah, there's that, and you know,
Yeah.
62 years old. It's way too young, and he just started making a little bit of a comeback. Like, he started doing live dates again. So he did some live shows in Vegas in December, and he was on the American Music Awards, and um, so
Well,
uh, you know,
it's just sad. Nobody's promised tomorrow. I saw him, God, back when he was breaking. He played a free show at the county fair here in Claremont County. I was dating. It was funny. I was telling my wife. My wife's like, "You went and saw him?" I said, "Yeah, I went with Andy and she who shall not be named." Before I married the other one. And I remember calling Andy because this was back when grunge was getting to be was king, and I was just burnt out on grunge. And country music at that time, in my opinion, was more like 80s rock. It was fun. And I think a lot of it had to do with a lot of those 80s studio musicians were playing in the country bands for work. And in any event, went and saw Toby Keith at the fair. And I remember calling Andy. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "We're going to go to Toby Keith tonight. You want to go?" He goes, "Yeah, I think that guy tried out for the Dallas Cowboys. I'll go see him." I don't think he knew one song, but it was because of the Dallas Cowboys. He wanted to see
mm.
Toby Keith.
Yeah, I mean, he was right on the last cusp of, the Garth Brooks, Alan Jacksons, Clint Blacks, Mark
Yep.
Chestnuts. He was right on the end of that, or you could say right at the beginning of the Kenny Chesneys and the um, Tim McGraw's. Uh,
Travis Tritt.
the
Travis
Travis,
Tritt was,
Travis. He would have been the first part. He would have been like the Garth
yeah.
Brooks and Alan Jacksons and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that was the first song he had. Should have been Cowboy. And then also, I told this story on my Facebook page, but I'll tell it again for whatever. Went to basic training April 2000, and boot camp. It's what you think it is. I mean, getting yelled at and running and all that shit. So, anyways, there's no TV, there's no radio, none of that shit. Well, "How Do You Like Me Now" was the big song at the time. Must have been the last song I heard before I went in. And while I'm there, that song is stuck in my head. And I can't, there's nothing, we don't have a radio, don't have a TV. I can't get anything else stuck in my head. And there's another song. It's weird because remember Toby Keith and Dixie Chicks kind of had a feud or whatever. Dixie Chicks was the other song stuck in my head. "Cowboy Take Me Away." So for 6, 7, 8 weeks, whatever, 9 weeks it was, um, I had those two fucking songs in my head. And when I got out and heard "How Do You Like Me Now" for the first time after being out,
You were discharged because you were singing Cowboy Take Me Away. And even though they had the don't
yeah.
ask, don't tell thing, they just said, "Okay, let's get him
Well,
out of
it
here."
was it was mostly the end outro of that song, right? It's just weird what sticks in your head. It was like the outro. I couldn't remember the verses, but I can remember like the outro part, and that part was stuck in my head. But it was all of Toby Keith's song. And when I first heard it when I got out, it was a totally different song in my head. Like, I had sung it and rewrote it in my head so many
Yeah.
times. I was just like, well, this isn't how it goes, Toby. It goes more like this. Um, but yeah, so whenever I think of basic training in April of 2000, I always think of Toby Keith. And he's got an interesting story. So he was on whatever fucking label, right? And He brings an album to them, and they only want 2 songs off the 10 songs he brings them. So they put those 2 songs on the greatest hits. He does another record, and they say, no, we don't want that. And he asks to be let out of his contract. He buys himself out. He buys the album that he submitted to them and they didn't want. He buys the rights to all that. And that record is that record, How Do You Like Me Now, or whatever it was. But that was that.
Is that Boomtown?
No, that was like his
That
second
was you.
record.
That was You Ain't Much Fun Since I Quit Drinking.
Yes.
I think. Okay.
But that, that record that he bought back was that You Ain't Much Fun Since I've Been Drinking. And he invested, spent all his money he had made to buy himself out and invested all in himself. So I always thought that was a cool thing. But anyways, there's your Toby Keith
Your
Night
hot Toby
Ranger.
Keith talk.
But yeah, so there you go. Anyways, I don't know. I think it's all the Night Ranger stuff we got. I mean, there's some Fans of Motion stuff we talked about briefly, but so listen, if you're out there and you're in the YouTube world, right? Go to Facebook, click join. We're all there. BB Kilma, come find us. And obviously Instagram, track us down on there. What else we got, Brent? Anything else? Oh, hey, about these? Well, Emily Medler posted all Jack's high school photos. I don't know where the fuck all those came from. But
Stalkers.
I don't know. But anyways, we'll need to get an episode of 10,000 members on the page, and we'll talk about Vegas next week. But a lot of shows coming up. Get some tickets. Tell us where you're going to be.
I don't even think 10,000 Maniacs has 10,000 people on their page.
Fuck those guys. We're a lot cooler. All right, so find us on Facebook. Go find the website, all that good stuff. Brent, say goodbye to everybody.
Fans of Motion, keep it real. If you see Josh, give him a wedgie in Vegas. He loves it. He loves it.
Love it. All right, later.